One story we've covered closely on this programme over a number of years now, really, has been about what happened to victims of the tainted blood scandal. In the 70s, 80s and early 90s, thousands of people were left with diseases like HIV and hepatitis. That was when they were given infected blood by the NHS. A lot of it had been imported from the United States, from people like prisoners. A public inquiry into this began hearing evidence 2 years ago. And this Friday, the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, is due to speak at it. And two people who will be watching there are Michelle Tolley from Bartram near Goreham. She was infected with hepatitis when she was given a blood transfusion. We've spoken to Michelle on the programme before. And also joining us for the first time is Steve Bartram, who is from Norwich. Good morning to both of you.
Morning, Chris.
Morning. Michelle, I'll come to you in a moment, but Steve, we haven't spoken to you on this programme about this before, so just tell us what happened to you.
Basically, I suffer from haemophilia, and I was given infected blood, a blood clotting product in the late 1970s. I was about 7 years old, and as you said, the blood was sourced from the US, and that was infected with hepatitis C, and I obviously was infected with hep C.
And how has that impacted your life since?
That's absolutely ruined my life. Not just me, thousands of other haemophiliacs. I can't describe how bad it is. There's four of us in our family. I'm the only one left still alive. I've got three cousins who died of HIV and hepatitis C. Their children were devastated by this. My second cousins, Tony and Dave, they were taken into care when their dad was dying in the hospital of AIDS. The government has systematically failed us on every level.
And Michelle, I remember hearing you talk about this before on BBC Radio Norfolk, and I think you've always said that there are more people out there like you in this position, and Steve is one example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously I was infected, as you know, by a blood transfusion. I've not got haemophilia like Steve. But yeah, there's still people out there, we need to find these people. Basically, if anyone's had a blood transfusion before September 1991, please seek advice from your GP. There's also the Hepatitis C Trust out there. They can offer you, support and answer any questions.
When we've spoken to you before, Michelle, I know people who were infected and are still alive do get some money from the government, but I know you've got concerns about that system. What's the latest on that?
Right, so basically, any payment that we've received, even myself or Steve, all of us at Blood Community, we've only ever received ex gratia payments. We have never received compensation to date. People get confused. Ex gratia means that, there's no liability accepted, where compensation proves that, there is that liability there.
Steve, I believe you're going to the inquiry on Friday to hear Matt Hancock give evidence.
I am, yes. But can I just go back on the payment side of things? I mean, we're getting these ex gratia payments, but the children who have lost their parents, the parents who have lost their children, they get absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and the widows.
The widows get nothing, but they've just been totally let down.
Yeah.
Yes, I am going on Friday to see Mr. Hancock give his evidence, but what I will say, I don't actually hold the guy responsible. He was a baby when this was going on. I hold the health minister responsible at the time, Mr. Clark. He is the one. He consented to us having this bad blood. It was just a cheap option out by the government. It is absolutely disgusting, and I want to see him held. I want to see him give his evidence and be held to account. If I went to a school and injected 5,000 kids with my blood and they died, I'd be put in prison. He got made a lord.
Michelle, what about you? What do you want to hear from Matt Hancock, given everything that Steve said, that this didn't actually happen on his watch? Why is this so significant? What do you want to hear from him on Friday?
Well, I think, to me, that remains to be seen. But what I would like to say is that, at the end of this, I would like the support payments to carry on lifelong with a compensation, which must include the widows, bereaved parents and bereaved children, like Steve's just said. Also, if I can just quickly mention that this is actually the worst disaster in the history of the NHS, and there is an infected blood inquiry which is taking place in London at the moment. You know, they're still looking for victims to come forward to give their witness statements. The team is led by Sir Brian Langstaff and his team, you know, and I have every faith that no stone will be unturned.
Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us this morning. Michelle Tolley from Sparham near Dereham and Steve Bartram from Norwich with not just their own stories, but why they think it's important that they hear the Health Secretary give his evidence to this blood inquiry on Friday. Both of them will be there, and we'll talk again to Michelle and Steve as well, I'm sure, on BBC Radio Norfolk as and when more findings come out from that inquiry. It's been a long inquiry and one that we have talked about before on the programme.